Hi, Pete here, Eco Fires and Stoves. Recently had customers phoning me up saying, thank you very much for a bit of advice. I gave on maybe a product or something that's been handy to use and what have you. So I thought I'd do a little bit more of that, and I don't think I've ever done one on the different fans, the stove fans. Stove fans are, which actually, from the heat of the stove, they generate their own electricity. So there's no batteries involved or anything. It's all done by what's called a little thermoelectric pad inside. Okay, so they generate their own electricity, no batteries, so they're nice and eco-friendly to use. But people find them really helpful when if they've got like a tight opening, they want to get some heat out, or they've got a long room and the stove's the other end. A lot of people buy them when they've got canal boats, that sort of thing, because generally they've got the stove at one end and they're sitting at the other, and it pushes the heat up a narrow sort of room. So they do have their uses. Other people like them just because they're toys, basically, and men like things like that. Anyway, so I'm going to do, we've got three in that we really like. Years ago they were so expensive, and you still can pay an awful lot of money, but we can't figure out why they're that expensive, because we've never had any issues with these little fans. We've got a 2-blade, I think that's a 6-blade, and we've got a 4-blade. And they all work in slightly different ways, okay? I'm going to stick them on top of this stove here, just so you can see them working. Hopefully they'll start up. Might be able to fit them all on there. They've got to get that hot before they start to go, but generally they start pretty quickly. So I'll just give it a couple of seconds, you'll see. So obviously, which is going to be the first? The little 6-blade one. Here you go. Off she goes. And that's probably because it's sitting at the hottest point. Then we've got the other little one going, the 4-blade. And I think the 2-blade's about to fire up. Come on. There you go. I think that's probably because the 2-blade slightly heavier each side, so it takes a little bit more time, then it'll start to get going. So like I say, all these have got running because of the little, what it sits on basically, the pad at the bottom, that's drawing heat from the top of the stove. Okay, now what you will find with these is the 2-blade runs slower, but it's got a bigger prop on it. So it's wafting the air around a little bit slower, but probably a little bit wider. And the 6-blade is running its fastest, but it's probably pushing the air forward a lot more in a straighter line, if you like. And the 4-blade is going to be a bit between the two. They're all fantastic little things. The little 6-blade one, because it runs so fast, you can actually get that propeller sound from it. You probably won't pick it up on the video, but you've got a little whirring. It's pretty low. You probably wouldn't notice it, but if you're very sensitive to noise, you could notice that. The other two are pretty noise-free. What we have found with fans as well is the 2 and the 4-blade ones are better balanced. So the 2-blade one, on occasions, they can have a little bit of a vibration. Any sort of discrepancy in the top being on level. But it's a minor thing, because majority of the time they're absolutely fine, but they just do different jobs. What people do find, when their stoves are in a lower opening, that the lower fans are better, because sometimes you've got a very restricted gap in here. So that's when we would suggest a little 6-blade one, not for any other reason, that it's low enough to go in there and do its job. I'm going to demonstrate that on a little fireplace we've got round the corner. Just to show you what I mean. Right, okay, so just showing you the lowest fan. This is probably the lowest we'd ever really go to a stove, to the top of the fireplace. It's a little limestone fireplace we have called the Grove, with a little Charnwood Air 3. So everything's, because they've got a small chimney or a small room, this is what they're going to end up with. Might still want a fan. The little 6-blade one just tucks in there, just right in front of that stovepipe where all the heat is. So, but by the way, this fan's still running because I've just taken it off the stove out there, and they will keep going for a little bit longer, and quite a few minutes longer actually once the stove's gone out. But anyway, that's pushing the air around this chamber, tight chamber, and it's giving more air movement because it's pulling air towards it over the stovepipe and coming out as warm air. So in this situation, they really do a good little job. Can't always fit. This is one of the lowest ones we do. But the majority of the time, you know, you can get one in. This one just sits just in front of the opening because I think it's a little bit close, but that's fine. That'll do the job perfectly well. So yeah, so that's a little 6-blade one. Fantastic little product. I think they're under £50, but just give us a ring and we can send you one of these if you like. Right, this is another setup we've got. This is a bit of a bigger fireplace and opening altogether. So this is the what we call the Bathampton, made out of natural bath stone, goes well with this lovely Stovax Futura. So you basically got a more of a traditional style fireplace, quite Art Deco, with a very modern stove. It looks brilliant together, and we've got the brick fire back in here, and that's left us a taller opening. We would actually get the 2-blade in here because it's got plenty of height. I think the 4-blade just sits in there nicely, and you know, can't show this on video, but I can feel it. You know, I can feel it pushing that air forward. It's not like you know, an electric fan where you get that blast of air. It's just you can feel it on the back of your hand, so it's obviously moving the air around, which is what you want. So that's the little 4-blade one doing its job, and looking lovely as well with this particular fireplace. So there you go. Our 3 favourite stove fans. Like I say, there's loads of them on the market out there, but we've tested quite a few of them. These are the best, we think, value-wise and what have you, availability, performance, which is obviously most important. We've got the 2-blade, got the 4-blade, and got the 6-blade, all different heights, which is probably the reasons you're going to buy them. Like I say, 6-blade one probably pushes more air out, but a little bit noisy. 4-blade one for a taller opening than the 2-blade one if you want to try and get a wider spread of air, but can be a little bit unbalanced at times. Okay, that's the honest truth on them, and if you want any of these sent out, please give us a ring, drop us an email. You're better off giving us a ring, to be honest with you, so we can tell you straight away whether they're in stock and how quickly we can get them out to you. Because sometimes this time of year, emailing can take a little bit of time because we're so busy this time of year.